can't make meltdowns go away entirely, and it wouldn't even be healthy for your child's mental development. Every child needs to learn how to express anger and frustration and disappointment and get over it afterwards. But we can prevent a lot of them. So, what can we do to achieve this? We will talk about some practical things that you can implement in your interactions with your child, and you don't have to do all at once. Just set small goals to turn them into routines, the same as we talked about before. The first aspect that I want to mention here is to connect when you're not disconnected. So we've all had days when we were frustrated because our children didn't do as we asked, or they shouted at us, and we felt like we've only put out fire after fire or stepped lightly not to get them upset again. They probably have felt it too. We've only told them what not to do, what they need to do, but don't want to do. And they didn't have any choices. And this erodes the relationship with our child. If we are always trying to tell them what not to do or stop them from doing things that they enjoy, at the end of the day, we are both tired and have the feeling that we haven't spent time together connecting and playing. So this tip is simple. Fill your child's cup with positive attention, so they won't need to ask for your attention in other ways. Connect with your child throughout the day, but that doesn't mean that you need to play with your child all the time. I know that a lot of parents feel pressured into playing with their kids all the time, myself included, sometimes when I see these Instagram accounts with lots of activities. But then all the other things that need to be done will pile up and will lead us to more frustration, and our child won't actually get the chance to learn how to play, discover, and observe on his own. So connection happens not only when we play with our child, but when we interact in a positive way with our child. And that helps fix a lot of behavioral issues. So here are a few examples. You have a chat while having lunch, or you talk about what they liked at daycare on the way back. Or when you hug after a diaper change, you read a book together, you let your child help with the chores. For example, you can do laundry together or water plants, mop the floor, everything together. You can let them choose what they want for snack between, let's say, two options depending on what you have in the fridge, and then you prepare it together. So these are all small ways in which you can connect with your child, and it doesn't require too much thinking and preparation. It's good to connect also after a tantrum. Let's say that they've had a meltdown getting dressed. You eventually got them out of the house, and now it's time to reconnect. So walk together, holding hands, and tell stories about your childhood. Or you can even talk about how it was difficult for you to get out of the house when you still wanted to play when you were little. So now that your child is calm, they have the time to listen and rationalize, and their amygdala is not controlling their reactions anymore. So after a tantrum, it's always important to reconnect. When your child is in defense mode, they can't really learn or respond rationally. But once they are calm, you can talk about it. When you come home from work and you see your child, acknowledge them. Make them feel seen. Maybe say, "Hey buddy, I think I need like 5 to 10 minutes on the sofa because I'm really, really tired, but I would be happy to play with you after that." And that small thing, that moment of attention, is already connecting with your child, even though you're not doing anything special. And then when you have time, do whatever they like. Read a book, play, no distractions or interruptions. I guarantee that you'll both feel amazing. It also helps to let your toddler have like 15 to 20 minutes daily when you play with him and he gets to set the rules and lead the way. They will be very excited to tell you what to do for a change, and you will reconnect. You can also turn this into a routine so they know when to expect it. If you are busy one day, just explain in advance, and they won't be taken by surprise, and you will have time to prepare them. You can say something in the lines of, "Remember, today I'm away in the evening when we should have our playtime. I know you're a bit upset probably, and whatever, verbalize the feelings. I am too. I love our playtime together." So you empathize and acknowledge. "I can't wait to play again tomorrow." If your child is still upset, you can make a list of the toys that they would like to play with tomorrow when you have this time together, and see if you can get them a little bit more understanding. When your child is calm and playful, that's the time to teach lessons and make plans. Another thing that can help lessen the tantrums is to say yes whenever you can. So try to be considerate of your child's wants throughout the day. Um, they don't want to go to the store with you, it's okay. Leave them at home to play with your partner, for example, while you go and buy food. Or they want to stop and smell the flowers while you're going back home. That's fine. It takes only 1 extra minute. So say yes if you can, and if it's not a big deal for you. It also helps to offer acceptable alternatives when your child shouldn't do something. Instead of "don't run with food in your mouth," you can say "sit at the table while eating." So you're saying basically yes, what they can do. If you leave the table, you're telling me that you're done. Instead of "no drawing on the walls," you can say "let's stick this paper on the wall so you can draw on it." So always find acceptable solutions to problems. Your child will see that you are on their side, and they will also learn useful problem solving skills. Then a good habit to make is to offer choices. That way your child's needs will be taken into account throughout the day, and they will feel understood, and it will not feel like you said no to everything that they wanted to do. So for example, do you want mom or dad to help you brush your teeth? Or do you want to brush your teeth now or in 10 minutes? You're not saying, "oh no, you have to brush your teeth now." You can give choices and they can choose. Giving toddlers and young children choices will also help them learn how to express opinions. It will give them some control over their lives, even if it's small decisions that they're making, and it will help them become more independent. So, this will in turn help you avoid power struggles, because these will happen more rarely. You will work with your child and not against them, so they will notice this and they will fight you less often. At first, it will not come natural to you if you haven't practiced this, or if your parents didn't offer you choices, but once you start with a few simple options during transitions or routines, it will become natural. Your child will gain confidence in themselves, and they will be able to make decisions in some contexts. However, remember that young children shouldn't be responsible for big decisions, because that will put pressure on them, and because, let's be honest, it might end up badly for your entire family. So, here are a few things to keep in mind when offering any choices. Formulate them clearly to make sure that your child understands them. Point to objects, use gestures or simple vocabulary and grammar, of course. Then before giving them the options, consider if these are age appropriate. For example, a child shouldn't have to decide whether to have a sibling or not, or which daycare to go to. These are decisions for adults to make, and can of course be discussed with the children afterwards. Then stick to 2 or 3 options, not more. It can be overwhelming for a child to decide between 5 activities or 4 types of snacks. Your child will have a say, so they will feel less inclined to say no when you ask them to do something. In order to avoid tantrums or have less of them, create clear expectations for your child. I mentioned that children want to know what to expect. Big surprises will lead to big emotions, so before any change or any new thing that you need to do with your child, tell them the truth and prepare them for what is going to happen. They will know what to expect, and they won't be taken by surprise when they get a vaccine or when they're picked up by dad at the daycare, or who knows what. When discussing with your child, remember this: get your child to pay attention. Choose the moment wisely so they're not interrupted while they are engaged in something else. Get down to your child's level and make eye contact. Use simple sentences and words that they can understand. Describe step by step what you are going to do and how it will go down, but avoid going into too much detail. They will forget anyways by the time you need to do those things. Then acknowledge feelings if they say that they don't want to go or that they're scared. I'm referring here to scenarios like going to the doctor or starting daycare or going to stay with grandparents. If your child responds well to pictures or gestures, use those to make sure that he understands. You don't need to print anything, just Google some pictures and use those. You can use books to help you explain to kids. Kids can identify themselves better with characters that are human, and you can also use, of course, role play. We will talk more about specific scenarios in the second part, but these are general tips that you can apply when you need to prepare your child for any change. The 5th thing that you can do to lessen the tantrums is to inform your child of the boundaries in advance and clearly. So when you set boundaries, make sure that your child has understood and knows what to expect, when they need to stop playing, where you will go after that, what happens if they don't listen. For example, if they don't want to turn the TV off after those 2 episodes that you agree with, you will have to do it to turn it off despite the strong feelings. The same logic goes for this as for the previous point. Toddlers thrive on routines. They like knowing what to expect. Tell them 1 minute before you need to leave the park, and the next you'll have to pick them up screaming and kicking. Next time, try reminding them 10 minutes in advance. But you're probably thinking, well, it's the same for a toddler. They don't really know the difference between 1 minute and 10. But if you use something to facilitate their understanding of time, and you turn this into a habit so your child expects it, I guarantee that they will eventually get it. To indicate when it's time to end an activity, like stop playing or do something else, you can use alarms on your phone, an egg timer, pictures for different routines. You can use stickers on the clock and help them understand with visual aids. You can set clear limits that they can understand, such as at the end of the episode we will turn the TV off, or you can use songs for transitions that they will automatically linked to the activity. For example, a clean up song, a brushing up song, brush your teeth song. Here's what I do with my daughter when I know that she will need to stop playing or that we need to leave somewhere. First, I set my phone alarm. I let her know we still have 10 minutes. I will set my alarm. Secondly, I ask her, what would you like to do in these 10 minutes? For those 10 minutes, I engage with her and I am fully present so she gets all of the attention and won't crave any attention in a negative way afterwards. And then I let her be in control for those 10 minutes. I don't tell her what to do. I don't say, go there, do this. I let her decide. When the phone rings, I just say, the alarm rang, it's time to go. Or maybe I just say, the alarm, and let her figure out what that means and that we're about to leave. Then I offer appropriate options. Do you want to turn it off or should I? That's already one simple thing that you can do and your child gets to decide. They can control small details and they won't have the urge to test or to ask for more choices later on. Do you think this would work with your child? Don't expect that it will from the very beginning. It can take a few days, maybe even weeks to start seeing some changes. But if you are consistent, meaning that if they cry, you don't give in and say, okay, we can stay 5 more minutes. And you do this every time, your child will get it. This is a routine. This is what we do, and then we leave the park. It doesn't mean that they won't cry or still try to negotiate, but that's fair. They are not happy with your decision, but they are allowed to feel those feelings. But you should still leave. So create a peaceful environment at home and create daily routines that work for you and your child, because they need predictability. They need to know in advance before a transition will happen. They need to have enough time to play without rushing places and you dictating what to do. These all contribute to a feeling of unease if piled up